Food has a remarkable way of weaving itself into our lives, becoming more than just sustenance. It tells stories, evokes memories, and connects us to our roots. For me, the dish that holds a special place in my heart is my grandmother's famous apple pie. Growing up, I spent countless summers at my grandmother's quaint farmhouse, nestled between rolling hills and expansive orchards. The scent of freshly baked goods would greet me the moment I stepped through the door, enveloping me in warmth and nostalgia. My grandmother was a master in the kitchen, but her apple pie was the crowning jewel of her culinary repertoire. Every Saturday morning, she would invite me to help her in the kitchen. We'd gather the ingredients: crisp, tart apples from the orchard, flour, sugar, cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. As we worked together, she would share stories of her childhood, her voice a soothing melody that mingled with the sounds of chopping and mixing. "Cooking is like storytelling," she would say. "Each ingredient adds a chapter to the tale." One of my favorite parts was peeling the apples. My grandmother had a knack for it. She would create long, spiraling strips of skin that seemed to dance in the air before falling into the bowl. "The secret," she explained, "is to keep the blade steady and let the apple guide you." I tried to emulate her technique, but my strips were always uneven, and she would chuckle, assuring me that practice makes perfect. Once the apples were prepared, we'd mix them with sugar and cinnamon. The sweet and spicy aroma filled the kitchen, and I could hardly wait to taste the finished product. While we waited for the pie to bake, we would sit by the window, watching the sun dip behind the trees. She would share family recipes passed down through generations, each one a link to our heritage. When the timer finally buzzed, we rushed to the oven, and the sight of the golden crust emerging was like unveiling a treasure. My grandmother would slice into the pie, and the warm, sweet steam would rise, wrapping us in its embrace. The first slice was always mine, a reward for my hard work. I'd take a bite, and the flavors exploded in my mouth. The tartness of the apples balanced perfectly with the sweetness of the sugar and the warmth of the cinnamon. It was comfort food at its finest, a taste of home that felt like a hug. As I grew older, I carried this recipe with me, using it as a way to connect with friends and family. Each time I made the pie, I thought of my grandmother, her laughter echoing in my mind. I realized that her love was infused into every slice, a reminder of our shared moments in the kitchen. Now, whenever I bake the pie, I make sure to share it with others. I tell them the stories behind the recipe, just as my grandmother did. Each gathering becomes a celebration of love and connection, a way to honor her memory. Through that simple apple pie, I continue to weave the fabric of my family's story, ensuring that her legacy lives on with every bite. In the end, food is much more than just flavors on a plate. It's a bridge to the past and a way to create new memories. My grandmother's apple pie is a testament to that, reminding me that the best recipes are those that come from the heart.